Welcome to 12-Minute Talks, where important information is shared in a short time period. Learn from other business owners, entrepreneurs, and experts about what they do to help you find solutions to everyday topics in 12 minutes or less. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast. I'm excited to have with us today Yvette Harris. She's the founder of Harris Public Relations, and they specialize in generating newsworthy stories about stories that sometimes don't get as much attention as they deserve. Yvette, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for having me. It's a great way to
Yeah, awesome. So, a public relations, I feel like it might be kind of like a mix of scandal and like news, right? Something like that. So what do you
Olivia Pope
tell?
of my
I'm sorry.
not. I said I'm the Olivia Pope of Miami, not.
There you go. All right. And so Yvette, what do you tell us a little bit about how you got into this industry?
So when I was in school, in college, I thought I wanted to become an attorney. So I majored in English and I had a pre-law minor. Then I realized once I was in school, I didn't want to go that route. I worked for a congressman in Queens for about three and a half years. And I really thought I wanted to maybe become a politician. Worked with him, realized that wasn't going to be my life's calling. And I was introduced to the world of public relations when I was able to get a job at the United States Environmental Protection Agency in New York City. So I worked with them for about 5 years, and it was a combination of PR and crisis communications. But it was something that I found that I genuinely really loved. And I was like, oh my goodness, how amazing that I find something that I really love and I'm passionate about. And I just felt like it was a really good vibe and fix, for what I was looking for as a career choice.
Yeah.
So, and then I worked with them for about 5 years, and a few years after that, I decided to start my own company with the push from two best friends of mine over 2 bottles of wine, and they convinced me that I could do it.
You needed some liquid courage there and some good friends, you
Well,
know.
the second bottle of wine, I was like, I think I could do this.
Yeah, I got this. I'm gonna quit my job and do this, you know.
Exactly.
That's a great story there. And Yvette, what do you tell us a little bit about what does a public relations firm actually do?
So our job is basically to make sure that our clients are in the media, hopefully in a positive light, generating stories, adding their name and their voice as an expert. Sometimes you might see somebody on TV and they always have an expert that's on to weigh in on certain things that are going on in the community. We look for opportunities like that for our clients and just maximizing the amount of exposure that they get, whether it's for their business, their service, their initiative, their nonprofit, just making sure that we can generate, positive news. We also work with clients that are in need of crisis communications. They might not necessarily know how to navigate through a crisis. And then we have a couple of clients that, we don't really talk about as much, but they want to stay out of the news. So for them, they might have something that they're not ready to release, or something might have happened, and they want to make sure that the news people don't write about them. So we have a couple of clients like that as well.
Interesting. So a little bit of everything, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that having diversity is really important, no, in any industry. Because if I could imagine if you only niche on like the people that don't want to be on the news, right?
Yeah.
That's good, but like I don't know how successful that might be if that's all that you do,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
what we love, we work with a different, a vast, diverse consortium of people. So we do a lot of stuff in arts and communications, arts and culture, businesses, nonprofits, initiatives, elected officials. So it really we're able to do a lot of collaborations, for one, and two, it just keeps it really interesting. And, you can never really you can never become bored with it at all.
That's good. That's good. And so, Yvette, do you only work in Miami or throughout the state
No, I
or the
live
nation?
wear flip-flops all year round, and I can be by the beach. I'm originally from New York, and I actually started my company when I was living in DC. So the great thing about the internet and, being able to use your computer anywhere is that we have national clients and international clients, but Miami is our base. We have a satellite team of people that work with us in Washington, D.C. and also in New York.
Awesome. So not just Miami, but New York and internationally as well.
Chicago.
Well, Chicago,
Yeah.
you're hitting the main ones,
We
I
don't really
guess.
go to Chicago in the winter, but
Yeah, eh, Chicago was the first place
and
that
they
I saw
want to
snow,
come
but
here.
the what?
They usually want to come here in the winter for meetings, so it's all good.
Yeah. They're smart. I don't. My friend calls it Siberia.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess it snows a lot over there, but awesome. And so Yvette, can you give us a story of maybe a business that wasn't using public relations and how it might have helped their business?
So we work with a funeral home. So it's a young millennial funeral director, and it was a family business, and he took it over from his father. And you would not think that the funeral industry would be something that would be newsworthy or you're like, okay, what are we going to do with this? And this was around the time when there was an actress who committed suicide years ago. And she was a very young actress. And we got the idea to pitch a story because, when you're young, you don't think about that you might die, So a lot of young people don't necessarily have all their affairs in order. They don't have, any kind of estate planning. So we decided to, because he, in addition to the funeral industry, he does estate planning. He helps people with planning for funerals, and just pre-planning and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we pitched to the news outlets, and he kind of became the staple of like whenever anything happens to a young person, just to talk about how do you get your affairs in order? How do you pre-plan? And we've been able to, get him on mainstream media as an expert to be able to tell those stories. So, there you might not think that you need a publicist, but if you're really looking to expand your business, and that was my dog snoring, that's so crazy.
Oh. I hope you don't hear mine barking because someone's at the door and she's over there destroying the world. But
it's the
yeah,
new norm.
you
So
know,
we were able to help with generating and getting him to see that, expanding his, it was the way to go.
awesome. Yeah, I could definitely see how that industry needs all the help it can get. I do life insurance as well, so
Mhm.
it's similar. I mean, we don't do
Yeah.
the funeral, but we deal with that often, right? That people are just uninsured or there's not things
And
they
we're
think
going to
of.
live forever. We're not going to be sick. And, and I think this whole pandemic has really caused people to pause and to
Yeah.
say, hey, what I really need to get my affairs in order. I need to make sure that my children are taken care of and not left with a, whole heap of bills. And, so it's given us an opportunity to kind of reset and make sure that we pay attention to those important things.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a great story. A unique business, that you were able to help out, and the stories I think are really interesting. I think stories help in selling instead of numbers. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
facts are important, but I don't think people at the end of the day care that much
Right.
because they think, oh, that's not going to happen to me, right? Whether it's a funeral home or a beauty parlor, right? Whatever the case might be.
Right. And
Um,
it kind of humanized, it made his story human.
mhm.
It's relatable. We got a lot of hits on that in terms of, a lot of younger people saying, oh, wow, I never really thought about, what am I going to do if what am I going to do in terms of if I die young? Like,
Yeah,
what is, so.
yeah. And so let's change the subject a little bit here and
Yes.
something more interesting because, uh, um,
But whoo.
so yeah, so Yvette, so you do public relations. Do you do everything virtually or I'm
So
assuming
I
now or yeah?
go, the way of doing PR now has somewhat shifted a little bit, now are on Zoom. We do have some clients that we take into the news stations, but, they've kind of limited those. So a lot of things are either done on Zoom or done on Skype. But, some sort of internet, and even when they do either come to your property or have a designated place to do the interview, there's definitely social distancing. You're wearing a mask up until the time you go on TV, so it's changed, somewhat. And, but it is what it is. And, we just have to kind of make sure that we navigate and do all the things that we need to do to kind of keep it moving to make sure that our clients stay out there in the media.
Yeah, definitely. People have to adapt. And I always say, good thing this is happening now and not like even 10, 12 years ago, like things would be totally different, right? A lot of jobs you couldn't do virtually.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so Yvette, how can somebody reach out to you if they would like more information?
So my website is harrispublicrelations.com. It's HARRIS publicrelations.com. My phone number is 786-897-8854. You can find us on social media on Twitter, Yvette Harris PR or Harris Public Relations, and the same on Instagram.
Okay, awesome. And like always, I'll put all of the links down below. And Yvette is with a Y, not an I, and two T's. Okay.
We get that a lot.
I could imagine. Yeah. And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am. My name's Lorena Tomasini, and I'm the owner of Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency, where together with my mom, we help other families and business owners with their financial protection needs, all done digitally. Yvette, it's been great having you on the 12-Minute Talks podcast. And I do have one random question for you.
Yeah.
Since everybody seems, since everybody seems to be reading a lot more lately, what would you say is the last good book that you read?
Oh, the last good book that I read is, oh my goodness, so because I've had a little bit of extra time to cook, I picked an Afro-vegan recipe book when I was in ago, and I have been trying that out with my air fryer, and I kind of have been navigating through the recipes with that. So yeah, that's the that I.
And is this like a quarantine hobby, or are you vegan?
So I'm a vegan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe she's trying it out now.
Yeah, I'm a vegan. So this has been an opportunity for me and my daughter to just kind of test out some of the recipes. Some have worked, some have not.
Okay.
But it's really, really a lot of fun just learning and, figuring out different ways to use different herbs and seasonings and, less salt and less things that are thoroughly healthy for us. A lot of fun, and it's been something that she and I have been able to do together. So we're like, oh, maybe next time we'll do our own cookbook.
Yeah, okay, the mother-daughter cookbook. Well, Yvette, thank you so much for being on. And is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I thank you very much for the opportunity. Stay safe and healthy and sane.
Yes, thank you. Likewise.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, and hope you will listen to the next one. I'm Lorena Tomasini, and you can contact me via email, life@malmins.com. Make it a great day.